Hey guys, this is Primeval, and today we're playing Jon Shafer's At the Gates. Jon Shafer was lead designer on Sid Meier's Civilization V, and 7 years ago he started his own indie game company called Conifer Games, and announced At the Gates. Now, Jon, I'm sure, and certainly none of his Kickstarter backers expected this game to take 7 years to come out. It's being released today on Steam, by the way. I've had this game since Monday, and I've played about 10 hours of it. I found it quite engaging, especially since I haven't really been playing games that much over the past little while. In fact, yeah, sorry about going radio silent on you guys. I had a lot of changes in my life, and, well, gaming and making videos just sort of fell off the radar for me. But I'm in a good place, and my life's going well, and I hope you guys are doing well too. So Jon Shafer actually wrote a blog post that really resonated with me about the struggles that he went through over the 7 years that he was creating this game, and obviously, well, yeah, I've gone through struggles too, and I think I'm, really out of practice with just talking stream of consciousness and trying to do concise intros, but that's okay. Let's just get started here. So At the Gates is a 4X strategy game set in, well, I don't know too much about history, but it's meant to be a single-player roguelike where you, one of the fun little features of it is that you unlock more clans as you defeat them in game. And so over my few test playthroughs, although I haven't actually played to the end game, I've unlocked various tribes that have different special bonuses and abilities. So I think what we'll do is play the picks who start the game with 8 clans instead of 3. The game really revolves around clans, and so I think we'll be able to just have more fun and hit the game rolling and explore more game mechanics faster if we just start off with more of these clans. But I'm by no means an expert at this game. I just want to show it off, see if it'd be interesting to some of you to check out, and get back into a bit of playing games and recording my commentary, because it is something that I really enjoyed and miss. And we'll see how this whole thing goes. Okay, so each clan has a bunch of different traits, some of which are beneficial and some of which are more problems that you need to deal with. So let's go through and have a look at what all their attributes are. So our first clan is Thorough. Their training time is increased, but they also gain experience faster. So these clans, they're clans of families. Essentially, this is the thematic mechanism that lets you have units that, span over many, many years and possibly generations, I suppose. And it makes for a good story, potentially. And they're also rowdy, so they can commit theft and engage in feuds and brawls. So this is one of the attributes that is more of a downside, and when clans get involved in disputes with other clans, both of the clans become unhappy and eventually angry, and they'll eventually stop working, or refuse to attack, etc. So this is something that you want to try to avoid, and so hopefully we'll be able to pay attention to that later on. So generally I like to keep clans that have the propensity to get into fights or arguments with other clans on their own. So these sort of conflicts only crop up when they're on the same tile. This is not a 1 unit per tile game, but certainly unit stacking is relevant, at least for this reason, where some of the clans won't get along with each other. So we'll just remember that this particular clan probably shouldn't hang out with the other clans too much. This clan has low fertility, so the clans grow over the time that they exist. So clans can be destroyed or deleted or captured, but as long as you hold on to them, they'll slowly grow, becoming more and more families, and that increases their output. So increases their strength when they're used in armies, and increases their production when they're being used to gather resources on the map or otherwise produce the varied resources in this game. So this guy, his doesn't increase in size in terms of his family as rapidly, but he does have a green thumb. He starts with 2 levels in agriculture, and so he will be easier to train in agriculture, and he also will or might get upset if he has a job outside of agriculture. So we'll remember that as well. This little green level indicator will remind us that Rem Shard would be good as a farmer or something similar. So this clan is tough. The damage it suffers in combat is halved, so we'll probably assign them to some sort of a military career path. And they're also thorough, so they'll be gaining experience faster. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's put a note on that. Well, a military. Yeah, really good typing. Okay. So this guy's intimidating. No clans may commit crimes when they're on the same tile, and they don't engage with feuds. So this guy... Oh, he doesn't engage with feuds, but he doesn't prevent other clans on the same tile from having feuds. I was thinking that maybe I could have him lead an army, and then we could have a bunch of like clans that would normally potentially feud with each other in there and being suppressed, or he would intimidate them into not fighting with each other, but that is not quite how this works. He's also ascetic, doesn't use as much food, can't be ennobled or trained in professions, and never has desires. Engages in feuds, or never engages in feuds. So we also have wasteful, so that's definitely 100% detriment. And curious, which is good, starts with discovery, so maybe we'll make this guy a scout. Scouts don't produce resources generally, so that'll negate the top half of wasteful, but he also suffers damage on low supply, which scouts, so all the units require supply. I think I'm getting into too many mechanics all at once. I should just play. We'll just deal with this as it comes up. This extra movement point could also be good for a scout, as could the no movement penalty for moving over hills. So this guy will also make him a scout. So these are just notes, in-game notes that you can leave for yourself. Hoarder and afraid of fire. Ah, excellent. So he actually brings us extra food and treasure. A glutton consumes extra food. This guy could be a good soldier or a good scout. We'll see what we need as we go. So the next thing that we'll be looking at is what we can take advantage of. We've got 2 resources here and the water, but otherwise not the most exciting of starting locations. We might go and wander over to check out some of this stuff. Let's unpack right now and move. Study professions. I wonder... So the first step in this profession tree gives you 2 experience points to one of your clans. And so to start off, we'll probably go and want to make use of... We don't have any trees to harvest. There's probably a bandit camp here, but we'll be able to harvest honey from this beehive, or potential beehive. It's only a rumor. Also probably hunt or make a pasture for these animals, dig up some of that, and then farm a bunch of this wheat. So let's just move over to the beehive and the animals. Yeah, and since we're going to have to be fighting these bandits, let's also move into honor right now so that we'll have a hunter who can check out those unknown animals and then also potentially fight off these bandits, although we'll likely need more than one military unit for that. So it takes a turn to pack up camp. So in this game, unlike in Civilization, you only have one city center, which is this camp. I don't actually know if these bandits will attack my settlement, which is currently packed up. I wonder if that would be a quick loss. Okay, so now we can switch disciplines or assign the 2 levels of honor. So I think I had wanted this guy to be in the military, and wait a second, what's going on? Is she already in a fight with someone? Well, let's get rid of this poorly written note. And the quarrel is broken up because they spent too much time together. This guy... Why are they fighting? Is it because she's tough? Let's see. Okay, let's try to read tough and experience gained. Is this the full tool text for tough? I don't really want to have to punish them right now. Okay, well, because she is tough, we're going to make her, we're going to assign her the military experience points. So let's close this stuff out. And then we're going to unpack the settlement right here within range of 3 resources. I think we can still improve and forage the honey, even though that's where we're going to place our settlement. So we'll unpack here next turn, and if we are going to be gathering that honey, which we should because we'll need food for winter, we'll go and assign 2 experience points from the first step of this agriculture tree. Next. So, let's see, switch disciplines, we're going to assign, so this guy already has a green thumb and stats in agriculture. It'll be really fast to train him in agriculture. Let's see who else we want to assign to agriculture. Maybe Conrad. Who else is going to get into a lot of feuds with these other clown members? So this guy's rowdy. Maybe it would be best if we got this clan away from the other clans to avoid any fights. So they'll also be a hunter or a farmer or a gatherer or a forager. But let's go and unpack the settlement here, and then we'll go and train that hunter we wanted to go and have a look at those bandits, and then we'll make a bunch of gatherers and foragers. And by a bunch of, I mean at most 2 right now, just because these 2 guys already have experience in that tree, and so it'll be faster to train them. And we need to go and study a profession. So what else will we need? It would be nice if we could harvest some wood. So there's wood here, there was wood here, and wood here, is that right? Tooltip? Nope. Okay. Oh yeah, so these 2 both have 24 turns of wood. The resources on the map do deplete, and so the roaming settlement is a very important part of how you interact with the map. So wood we'll need to build a lot of buildings, including farms. So let's put a point into crafting, and then we'll go collect some woods, maybe set up a logging camp to make use of these 2 forests. Okay, clans are idle. So we've got this guy, 2 attack power versus 3. Let's just go and have our hunter inspect what these animals are and what use we can make of them. Up next, we're going to assign a woodcutter. So this guy, intimidating, he does play well with others, so we might save him for the military, because the military, compared to most of these other professions, so the 2 areas that I've decided right now that you want all of the clans that are going to be there to get along are the military, because in the military, you usually need to form your military units into armies in order to beat other units, and so they're all going to be stacked in a tile, and if they disagree with each other, then they'll eventually become unhappy, and then they'll be unwilling to attack. So that's pretty important. And then they're also, I guess, they're like specialists, but there are units that don't wander around the map and stay within your settlement, and then obviously they all share a tile, and so and they usually provide bonuses to the units that do wander the map, and obviously if they're sharing a tile, we don't want them fighting either, although fights among them are slightly easier to deal with because as you can see here, you can only punish a clan when it's in the settlement, and that punishing a clan is one way to resolve a disagreement between 2 clans. It's not ideal though, because the clan that you punish loses their occupation or their profession, and also becomes understandably upset. But we'll get to that when we get there. So what we wanted to do was to assign or decide who we were assigning to go and chop wood. This guy we want to be a scout. This guy is a little wasteful, but maybe we don't really need that much wood. He might also end up being a scout though. And so that leaves us with this guy who's afraid of fire, so that'd be fine. Or this guy who doesn't have extra penalty for moving into the woods, and if he's always going to be going into the woods, when we move them around to harvest different stands of trees, then maybe that would be beneficial. Yeah, although I hope he doesn't stop working at an inopportune time. For now, we'll make this. Well, let's punish him now, before he has a profession, and then we'll go and make him a crafter and have him go and collect wood. So there we go, and we'll go and train. Let's get food and then wood. So let's go and train ourselves someone who's going to collect honey from that beehive that our settlement is currently on top of, and we can we'll make him the gatherer right away, since he's compared to our other clan that also has some points in agriculture, would be upset if he's not actually performing roles in agriculture. So that sounds good to me. And we'll go and study. We may as well get a scout rolling so we can figure out what's around us and also collect some goodies. I don't see any potential goodie huts right now, but hopefully we'll find the goodie hut equivalent and find out what these animals are. Apparently that won't be for another 3 turns though. Okay, so clans are idle. We have a point to assign in discovery, which I'm going to give to this guy since he's going to be really fast moving. And then we'll go and train a explorer, which will be this guy, and then choose a profession to study. So we've got our opening points in discovery, crafting, not metalworking, not livestock, and not just metalworking and livestock. So we do have a resource to explore over here, so I think I'll go and assign that now. Let's have a look at who we would give that to, though. Definitely not Conrad, because he's afraid of fire and would get upset if we were to put him into the metalworking discipline. So we'll probably make it Landbert here. Yeah, that seems good. Okay, so go and study metalworking. And the idle clans is gatherer. Okay, so we can forage on the tile. The settlement does not prevent us from making use of the beehive. Excellent. All right, and so now we're making a bit of food. So we're getting 2.7 food per turn from honey, and 1.7 is consumed by our clan families. One thing to note, which I will switch into, this is a strategy that came out from the last time I played this game, which wasn't recorded, so you haven't missed out on anything, is that the max food consumption per turn is 1. It's really not a big deal once you've stocked up enough food to survive winter. We'll talk about winter when winter comes, but yeah, too much at once. I'm definitely out of practice at this whole talking to myself about games business. Clans are idle. Oh yeah, we've got an explorer. Which way do we want to go? Let's head south first. Just on a whim. Okay, so there's a lake, some mountains, nothing too notable just yet, and a caravan has arrived. So these caravans show up periodically. The time in between caravans is somewhat random. I think if you upgrade the caravan, they might come more regularly. Owner, large and more diverse caravans, starting the next visit. So it doesn't seem like it does anything to the visit frequency, but they'll come with more goods, more of them, and more specialized goods. But right now, if we want to fight that camp of bandits, we will probably want some weapons, and there's nothing else that I am going to put a high priority on right now. So let's go and buy some of these weapons. We'll buy 5 weapons, which is enough to train an archer once we study that profession, and then we have enough money left over to upgrade the caravan so that they'll reliably have more goods. It does mean that we'll have to build up our treasury though. Right now we're left with only 5 gold in our stockpile. So now we're assigning the metalworker, not to Conrad, so then to Landbert, and we'll go and train a digger to check out that mineral deposit, and we'll go and study. We'll save opening up livestock until I find out what animal resources there or who I want to assign that to. So right now we're getting our next clan in 12 turns. I guess I could assign Conrad. Yeah, Conrad will assign to study these or to do something about this livestock. We'll have our hunter wander around. Maybe the hunter will upgrade to an archer later. So yeah, let's grab livestock and then we'll research archers, I think. Although I think we'll make an army out of the hunter and another archer, so then we'll have to assign a different clan to the archery profession. Okay, so we can assign livestock to Conrad, and we'll train a rancher most likely, which means we'll probably have to research that depending on what animal this is. It's still an unidentified animal. Okay, it's probably an animal that we can ranch, and if it's not, I don't mind spending a turn researching ranchers and then coming back to it later. Okay, so if we can't train Conrad into a livestock profession just yet, we're already collecting the honey. We are already going to send off this digger to inspect this mysterious resource, unidentified mineral. Then we want someone who's going to go and collect some wood. So we'll go and train ourselves a wood collector. Yes. Cool. Okay. Okay, so we have a herd of sheep, and so that's definitely worth ranching. I did see in the tech tree that you can use sheep to make a whole bunch of food in the form of cheese, and that sounds very sustainable and delicious. So we'll maybe try to do that at some point, although there are a lot of steps in between. I think we'll have to really ramp up our resource collection, and I do want to do something about this bandit. But yeah, lots of steps, lots of things to do. Maybe we'll explore in a big circle around our settlement, I think. Well, let's see if we can loop around this body of water. Okay, so digger is going to identify this deposit. Then this wood collector is going to go check out this forest. And this hunter will forage. Yeah, we're going to forage some food from these sheep for now until we can ranch them. And this will let us build up even more food before winter hits. So winter will be cold, and that'll stop us from being able to collect honey from the bees, I believe, at least in the game. And yeah, so we'll want to make sure we have food over winter. And so you can see here, and now that we're foraging food from this herd of sheep, that's giving us an additional 5 food per turn. And so now we're stockpiling 3.8 food per turn, which is pretty good because it's late July, still several turns before winter, but we do want to build up that stockpile. Running out of food, I don't think is the end of the world, but I mean, it does turn off your ability to research new professions. What else does it do? Well, we'll deal with that when it happens. Anyways, obviously we don't want to starve, but if we do, it's not like an instant lose type of scenario. Okay, so next. Ranchers, once we've finished doing that, we'll want to assign some stuff there. I think maybe we'll turn this guy into a hunter as well to try to take down... No, he'll eventually become an archer, I think, unless we get a more suitable clan before then. In which case, we're going to have these guys go and gather some wheat before winter hits. So, let's go and train a reaper. Oh, and I wanted to read the full details on these skills again. Yeah, so she's rowdy. I don't really want her in an army, so we're going to get her out of this element as soon as possible, and like reaping some of this wild wheat. Or whatever mysterious resources we have around here. So, our wood collector is going to start foraging wood. Later on, we can research some new occupations that will let him build a logging camp that collects wood from the surrounding tiles around as well, which sounds super efficient. In this case, he would get at 2 forests, which is definitely better than 1, but obviously there'll be some situations where we're just like completely surrounded by forests, and that'll be great. There are different ways to process wood into other even more valuable resources. Wood itself is pretty useful, and we can also sell our wood to the caravan when it comes back in 3 turns, or any subsequent time that it visits. Alright, so we've got our reaper, and she's going to go and check out this resource over here, a field of wheat. There's 18 turns worth of wheat harvesting that we could do there. And next up, can't do ranchers yet. I don't I think I want to save this guy. We're not going to get a new clan for another 9 turns, so I want to save this guy for a second military unit, in which case let's just make a little treasure so that when making treasure instead of training up a clan, that gets us another 5 gold per turn, and maybe we'll be able to buy something useful when the caravan shows up. So, clans are idle. We've met the Goths here. Spearmen. I wish there was... Oh yeah, so the Watchtower belongs to the Goths, and we don't need to explore their land just yet. It looks like coming to attack them might be a bit of a hassle as well. It looks like quite a long walk, but we could eventually move our settlement over that way. So the downsides, give no gift in return. Oh, they gave us treasure. That's actually the first time I've met another tribe group and they've actually given me something. So thank you. I'd rather have our resources. I haven't really figured out what the value for diplomacy is yet. How I've interacted with clans previously is by destroying them, which is how I unlocked these other clans. But presumably there is an interesting, or at least a lot of levers to pull in the diplomacy system. Okay, so we're gonna go and train up a rancher here and study either archery or logging. I think if these archers and hunters, etc., are going to be at all useful, we'll probably want an army of size 3, which means we won't be online with that for at least 8 turns. So let's go and... Okay, let's research farming so that we can turn the gathering we're doing at the bees. Are they called bees? The beehive. How much longer is this beehive going to last? Gatherer, foraging. Okay, so the white little bar here is how long this depletable resource is going to last. We can get more honey and maybe not deplete it as fast. I'm not entirely sure on the details just yet. If we set up an apiary or if we farm the beehive instead of gathering from it. So I think that's what we'll set up to do before we tool up our military, take care of this bandit camp, and hopefully use that military on some other things as well. I don't see any other things to attack just yet, so the bandits can come and pillage our stuff and attack and capture our units, so I definitely want to take care of them at some point in time. The only units that can defend themselves are the scout type units and the hunter type units. Scouts can't elect to attack as far as I know, but the military units obviously can. The hunters can also be used to identify animals and forage meat, as we're doing from these sheep, but are also on the path to upgrade to purely military units, and also units that do other things, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point in time. But I think that's where we'll end this first video and go into the next. Hope to see you then.